Hey guys, what's up? Jared here, Dex and Dice, Ramblings of an LGS owner. I just inhaled a burger, so I apologize. But anyways, um, today I want to talk about a little, not really different, but I'm going to touch on, uh, honestly, TCG creators, space creators, whatever you want to call it. Um, but not necessarily in the way you think. I'm going to talk more about, or kind of drive home my point yesterday with the whole student teacher thing. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go watch the other video. You'll know what I'm talking about. And I made some bullet points and everything, so I'm going to kind of be looking a little off to the side more often than not because I'm trying to keep the squirrel in line because I thought that this might be a little more important, you know. Um, and for those of you that don't know, I have the TISM and the ADHD, so like that's why a lot of my videos are kind of squirrel brained esque, and I have problems finishing complete words and thoughts. So yeah. Anyways. Um, but yeah. So I want to talk about TCG content creators as far as like people who share the same likely space that I do, you know? Like I I don't want people to watch me forever, you know? And I don't want people to like watch anybody else forever if they're trying to give you pointers on what to do, how to do, when to do it, and all that good stuff, right? I kind of want the opposite to happen. I want you to eventually stop watching us, you know, not today or tomorrow, but like eventually, I hope that you do stop watching us, right? I hope that you take the lessons that we're all sharing, you know, the mistakes we've made, things that we have figured out, and that you finally put them into practice and you build your own thing. You create your own path, your own journey. Actually start your side hustle or open your own store. Even if, like, opening your own store isn't something like mine, it's literally you start at your, like, local flea market and you rent a booth for the weekend or you get a permanent section for the weekends, you know, whatever. Like, I want you to do whatever it looks like for you as far as like this space goes, or even any other business, to be completely honest with you. Like, I want you to make it happen, Cap'n, you know? And I want to make this crystal clear, you know, 3.5 minutes into the video and all, that I'm not attacking you. This is not a personal attack. This is not a you're dumb, whatever. I'm challenging you, okay? And there's a bit of a difference because I'm not saying that everyone who watches this channel, you know, that you're sitting around and not doing anything. You know, I know for a fact that some of you have taken advice from everyone that you watch and everything, and you have started your own little side hustles, and some of you have opened your own stores, and some of you are even doing random things that I wouldn't have thought of or anyone else would have thought of, you know, instituting stuff that we have taught you guys, and you created something new, which is great. That's awesome, right? But I also think that there's a larger group of people that haven't, right? For a myriad of reasons. Like, either you're terrified or scared or hesitant, whatever words you want to use to start, right? Maybe you don't think you're capable of actually doing it. You know, maybe you're waiting for just, you know, oh, I just need one more video to watch. I just need to learn one more X, Y, or Z. You know, I need to follow another example. I just need this one more thing or whatever before you actually do it, right? Or there's always the chance that you literally just watch these creating stuff videos and you never intend to build anything off of it. It's just something you watch, right? Which is okay, cool. Everyone's got their thing. I think it's a little strange, but like I said, no shade. It's up to you. Everyone's got their thing, but like this video and most of the videos that I make are for the people who keep telling themselves that, it's going to happen one day. One day I'll do it. I just need to watch more. I just need to have more. I just need to insert reason, excuse, whatever you want to look at it here, right? Because eventually you've got to stop watching us. You've got to stop watching the ones that have made something, and you've got to become one of us. You've got to, like my mom would always say, or used to say, you've got to shit or get off the pot, right? And I know that even me saying that in that kind of a way comes off as negative, and I'm framed as negative. And no, Tech Priest, this is not at you, dude. I love you to death. Like, this is not aimed at you, all right? Because, like, I see the comments, even on other people's videos and shit. I see the comments, I hear it, I get it. Like I said before, I know I'm abrasive. But the reason why I talk about the hard, the hard parts, the not so friendly parts, the not so smooth parts, all that good stuff is because I don't want to discourage you, but I also want you to be aware of what else is there, because most of what I've seen, and just in thumbnails and watching random stuff and all that, most creators, not all, but most, only prepare you for the easy stuff, like the buying of the cards, sorting the cards, listing the cards, starting a web page or a social media presence, or even, maybe a small storefront, stuff like that, YouTube channel, whatever. Those things are easy. Those are like the equivalent of learning to walk. Learning to walk. Sorry, guys. I want to make sure while you're walking, you are aware of the holes, the traps, the sharp edges, the weird little things that look safe but they're really not, like, I don't know, just like your cash flow problems you might have, the burnout. Like, everyone talks about burnout, and burnout is different levels for different people and everything, but it's still something that needs to be talked about. The bad decisions, all that, the mistakes that you probably didn't think was a mistake at the time, but 4 months later down the road, you're like, shit, that was something I probably shouldn't have done, right? And just the overall, and everyone talks about this too, but like just the stress that it actually legitimately is running something like this if you want to be serious about it, right? If you want to be serious about this, it's going to be stressful, right? And I think it's important to, like I said, show people this and emphasize these little aspects more than it is the easy, fun, happy-go-lucky, look at what I've acquired, look at me list this kind of stuff. Because like I said, that's easy. Everyone can do that. No one needs more than maybe 2 lessons on that before they should be able to move on, right? Because everyone can handle the easy stuff. Like I said, I'm just trying to prepare you for the rough waters that are out there, because it's not that easy, smooth stuff that makes or breaks people. It's the storms. And it could even be a small storm sometimes. And that might be the straw that broke the camel's back, right? And if I'm doing my job right, my job, because I don't get paid for this crap. Um, but if I'm doing what I'm, yeah, my job, we'll call it that. If I'm doing my job correctly, you're going to learn what you need to learn from me and everyone else and all that good stuff. And you're no longer going to be a student of what we're trying to teach you. You're going to be eventually a peer. And I want peers in this industry. I want people who have actually taken what they've learned, put it into practice, have built something on their own to where you eventually don't need me or anyone else telling you what you should do, hand holding you through every fucking process, you know? Once you become a peer, congratulations. Now we get to talk on more of a like operator-ish level, right? But getting that out of the way, I kind of want to stress on the TCG creators and how the space in general ends up sounding the same. We all pretty much have the same stories. If you watch enough, you see roughly the same kind of charts, the market panics, hype, same hustle advice, thumbnails, mostly the same lessons, you know, maybe the same tips and tricks kind of things. And like, I don't think it's the creator's fault. I don't think it's our fault necessarily. It's just kind of the thing that is such basic stuff that everyone has to talk about. And there's only so many stories you can tell about cardboard in general and operating and everything before all the stories end up sounding roughly the same. And it's like everyone is repeating themselves with slightly different words here and there, right? Because everyone is essentially fishing in the same pond. We're all kind of looking at the same announcements, the same market, products, same trends, everything like that. We're all looking at the same crap, and they all they all just overlap, and we end up roughly sounding the same with the same crap that we're saying. It's just you pick the package you want to hear the lesson from, right? But I don't think the creators ourselves are the actual like interesting part of the process, the discussion, the whatever you want to call it, right? I think the actual audience is the interesting part, because I think a lot of people have accidentally become spectators, right? They've become spectators and they know every milestone that, you know, whoever you're watching has made. You know every inventory update. I guess milestones, not just on like their business aspect, but social media aspects like sales, screenshots, business updates, collection purchases. You know, you end up knowing someone else's business and the way it flows arguably better than you probably know how yours flows, right? And that's a problem, because as I said in the other video, their inventory isn't yours. Their subscribers aren't yours. Their sales aren't yours. Their listings aren't yours. The collections aren't yours. Their outcomes are not yours. You can spend years studying someone else's journey and never start your own. And at some point, you're supposed to stop watching, stop studying, stop gathering information, and actually like start playing the game that you're watching, right? Like, as far as me trying to teach, educate, whatever the hell you want to call it, you guys, is I'm not wanting to create lifelong students. Like I said before, with me, the goal is to create peers. People who have taken what they've learned and, like I said, put their money where their mouth is and actually put everything into practice. But I think the weird part about being a creator, and the weird part that I think everyone understands but maybe doesn't want to openly admit, it's one of those, like, what, open secrets or whatever you want to call it, is that the internet, the algorithms, whatever you want to call it, rewards people remaining permanent students, right? And I don't think most creators out there are intentionally trying to create permanent students. Like, I don't, regardless of what or who may think what. I don't think that, they're sitting in the dark room twirling their mustaches going hee hee hee, all that good stuff. Like, I don't think that's what everyone's doing, because that would be really weird and, like, predatory, but like I said, I'm not saying that's what everyone's doing. But I think the YouTube and other social media shits and rhythms and everything, they incentivize having the permanent student, the recurring views, the subscribers. Like, I have a small Patreon. It's mainly for local people and everything, but Patreon in general, affiliate links, sponsorships. The algorithm doesn't reward graduating your students to become a peer, because then you don't get the views, you don't get all of the subs, you don't get the clicks on your affiliate links or your sponsorship links and all that shit as much as you used to, because they've pressed on like they're supposed to. But the algorithm, obviously it rewards returning viewers. And the internet has gotten pretty good at the internet has gotten pretty good at teaching people, but it's gotten much worse at punishing them when they want to leave the classroom and start their own whatever adventure it might be, right? Because at some point, if you've watched 50 videos on how to buy a collection, you should have already bought a collection, right? If you've watched 100 videos on how I start my TCG journey or whatever, you should have already started your TCG journey, because eventually learning becomes a mental masturbatory, like, procrastination, like, feel good thing, right? I'm learning, so I'm doing something productive. To an extent, yes, but if you never implement any of this crap that you learn from all of us, is it really doing you any good? Have you used your time in an efficient way, Like, and before anyone thinks that I'm yelling into the void about you shouldn't watch everyone and all that good stuff, I watch builders too, right? I watch store owners, creators, other entrepreneurs. I watch people building things all the time. But the difference whenever I watch someone at this current point in my journey or whatever, despite where they are, if they're either lower than I am, where I'm at, or like Rudy level shit, I see them as peers, right? They're, like I said, they're at a different part. Yes, they're bigger, smaller, or whatever, make more money, less, whatever, it doesn't matter. I'm not watching them because they'll help me give more blueprints to my own success or whatever. I'm watching because I'm curious what another person is doing, just to see, like, well, okay, cool, that was interesting, like, maybe I'll implement it or whatever. But that's where I'd like some of you to get eventually, not to the point to where you stop learning because you need to continue learning, but I want you to get to the point to where you stop putting builders on a pedestal, right? because we don't belong on a pedestal. We're actually no better or worse than you are, you know? When you watch one of us, when you watch a creator, even I don't care what space you're like, I don't care if it's TCGs or something else. Like when you watch a creator, a store owner, a collection buyer, any general entrepreneur, like me personally, I don't want you thinking, I wish I could do that. I want you to be, how did they do that? And how do I do something similar, right? Because because the goal for me, again, I'm just speaking pretty much strictly for me, is I don't want you to spend your entire life being someone's student. You know, I want you to become a peer, and I want you to sit at the same table with the rest of us. Because if all you ever do is watch the builders, watch people create X, Y, and Z or whatever, you've missed the point of them sharing their journeys or whatever. You know, you've missed the point entirely. They want you to go become one, just like me. And maybe one day, hopefully, maybe I'll be watching you in one of the little weird things that comes up on mine. I'm like, oh shit, well, that seems interesting. Or, you know, maybe I'll roll my eyes and be like, well, what the fuck? And click on it anyways and give it a watch. You know? I want you guys, like I said, to just become a peer. Sit at the table with me, not at the kids' table. Sure, there are people ahead of me and behind me, and when you start, it'll be the same. But you're still sitting at the fucking table, nonetheless, right? So, anyways, that's all I got, guys. Just needed to give you a little bit of little inspiration there, I guess. And I'll talk at you later. Remember, life is not a dick. You don't have to take it so hard. Sometimes a dick does win. It's just, that's life. You're a trash can, not a trash can't. And kind of the whole point of all this is just be like Nike and just do it, right? You guys have a good one.